And we had a sad weekend at our house in that my daughter's bunny died.
Oh, no.
Why now?
What, before Christmas?
It's like the busiest time of year.
Oh.
I did not need a dead pet right now.
So we already know that women tend to take on the lion's share of like physical and emotional labour at homes. But it's also been argued that cognitive work is a third task type, and that is anticipation, planning, and research. 2 couples in California got IVF, right? But the embryos got mixed up and they didn't find out until their babies were 4 months old. And the only reason they really found out is because one of the families had an Asian dad.
Then Moana 2 came out and I was so looking forward to it, Tootie.
You didn't like it?
And I was so disappointed that I didn't love it. I really, really wanted to love it.
It's very rare that as a journalist, I get to bring my at-work skills into like my school mum skills. And so the school held a meeting, but it was really last minute and a lot of the parents couldn't make it. I live reported via the school WhatsApp chat.
One kid came up to me and she looked at me up and down and I was like, oh, this could go either way. And she goes, I want to be just like you when I grow up.
Oh,
and I went, oh, do you?
Hello and welcome to Mum Club. We're not your regular mothers group. I'm Em Blatchford and I'm joined today, as always, with my co-host, Leah Gawlis, otherwise known as Yaya, my friend.
That's me.
How are you?
Did you know that that's a thing now? That's what you say. Like that's what the young kids say when you're talking about someone, they say, that's me.
Oh, really?
I learnt this on the weekend when I said to my son, did you enjoy your class? Did you do this? And then he was like, that's me. I'm like, what's this now? I only just learned what skibbity is. Can you just inform me?
You got to be hip to the hop.
Yeah.
Got to keep.
That's me. Yep. How was your weekend?
It was amazing because I went to Brisbane.
Without your kids?
Without my children, again. No, one of my best mates, her husband, they've just had to move to Brisbane because of her husband's work. And me and my other best mate jumped on a plane and went and visited her.
Nice.
It was soul restorative. It was so good. Women are the best. Women hanging out with women is just so much fun. It's so good.
Yeah.
All the good chats. We went op shopping. We
eat good food.
We ate so much food.
Lots of cocktails.
Yeah. All of the best things.
We're back on the alcohol again. Is that where we are?
I know. I'm on or I'm off. I was on in Brisbane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're back off now? Or we're just going to stay on until the festive season's over?
Maybe.
Just stay on. Just stay on with me.
What about you?
I'm glad you had a nice weekend. We had a sad weekend at our house in that my daughter's bunny died.
Oh, no.
So you would know that we've got a dog, Claude, and then we've got 2 bunnies, Mr. Pickles and Bonbon. And Bonbon sadly has crossed the bunny bridge.
Oh, R.I.P. Bonbon.
Yeah, it was a bit
happened?
sad. I don't know. I was sitting there working away and the kids were like playing, and then I reminded my son to go and feed the rabbits, and it was, one of those hot days that we had in Sydney recently. Yeah. And
oh, gross. Was it like?
Well, it was the really hot day, but they've had hot days before, and they're always like the water bowl's full, and so we did all the things. And yeah, my son went out to feed them, and then he came out and he's speaking to me through the window, and he said, "Mum, you need to come out here." And I said, "Yeah, in a minute. I'm just a bit busy." And he said, "No, Mum, you need to come now." And I looked at him, and his face was white. And I said, "Is it what I think it is?" And he said, "I think so." And then so my daughter, it's her bunny now, so she's watching her iPad with her headphones on, like singing away and whatever. No. And I went out there, and then he was like, "Just pick her up and put her on the grass. She'll wake up." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know about that." She was pretty stiff. And so I had to go in and break the news to her, and it was horrific. You don't have pets for this exact reason, but if you just know, breaking the news to a child about their pet dying is horrific. So there was wailing and lots of crying, and I think 2 suburbs away heard us. So she's very good at mourning. We're very good at grieving animals in our house. So we did all the things. I had to wait for Jerry to come home to bury her because I can't pick them up when they're in that state. Yeah. So we buried her next to, we've got like a pet cemetery in the back of our yard. But You know, I've said before that like the rabbits are the hardest animal we've had. So it doesn't hit as hard as a dog. But you know what was really like the biggest thing that I struggled with?
What?
Why now?
What, before Christmas?
It's like the busiest time every year.
Oh, right.
And I was like, of all times, like seriously, like it's already chaotic enough. My head is already exploding. I did not need a dead pet right now.
Do you think she'll expect a new bunny for Christmas?
No, I don't think so. And she hasn't asked, so
Okay.
I don't think so. So yeah, that was our place.
Well, way to bring down the mood.
Yeah, I know. But
No, I feel bad. That's poor Maddie. That would be upsetting. As I told you, we've only had one fish and it died and no one cared.
yeah, that's the thing with fish.
Yeah. R.I.P. Rainbow Sparkles.
Rainbow Sparkles is gone, sparkling away with Bonbon up in pet heaven or in the left corner of my backyard. That's where they all are.
I'm glad you brought up Christmas because I want to talk about the Christmas mental load.
Yes.
I wrote a column about this for the paper, and so I did some research and stuff, and it's everywhere I see. All my friends are talking about it, and then when I started digging into it, it is so a thing. I found this study by Harvard that was done, and it was saying that, and this let me see if this resonates with you or not.
Yeah.
So we already know that women tend to take on the lion's share of like physical and emotional labor at homes. Like physical is like doing the dishes, emotional is dealing with Maddie's pet situation.
Yeah.
But it's also been argued that cognitive work is a third task type, and that is the anticipation, planning, and research into anything to do with the house. That is Christmas in a nutshell. That is being like, oh, Christopher needs a Secret Santa present for school. I'll research the toys that are within the price bracket. I will then buy that toy at payday, or I will use this money. I'll put this money out of this fund to buy the toy here, and then I'll wrap it, and then he has to take it on this day.
Yep.
And all of that stuff, which is cognitive labor,
It's exhausting.
is what mums are doing at the moment.
Yeah.
And it was so true in the study. It said that a lot of the research showed that the parents will make decisions together. Like we might be like, I'm going to buy Alice a boogie board for Christmas. And Luke and I will go, that's a great idea. We'll get her a boogie board. But then I'll go out and like research all the boogie boards.
Well, at least Lucas is involved in that conversation. Jerry would have no clue what is wrapped under the tree. And it's partly my fault too, because I don't tell him what I'm planning on buying unless we're buying a big thing, right? But also, like, I'm not going to wait for him to get home before I start wrapping presents. Like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like in between school pickup and then dinner time, I'll wrap presents, chuck them under the tree. If I wait for him to get home, I'm wrapping presents at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. So that's how they manage to get away from, get out of these little jobs.
But it's also the labor as well of making magic, like making it magical. Like that's what the elf on the shelf is. This is what Santa is. It's like, so I always buy different wrapping paper from the Santa gifts as opposed to the gifts that.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's effort.
Yeah.
I always have that idea of I will do that. And then it comes to like the week before Christmas and I'm like, oh, yeah, stuff that.
Yeah. Well, your kids would never notice anything anyway.
Last year I wrapped them in the Woolies bags because I ran out of paper. And so, you know, the paper bags turned into,
Christmas
if you don't know that already, like go, save yourself some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did that. They didn't wrap very well though. They were very stiff.
No, yeah. I was about to say, you might have like sticky tape ahoy, like, you know.
And ribbon as well to stick them down. But, you know, when you were talking about the magic, I saw a meme the other day that said, like, the moment you realise Christmas magic was all your mum is the time that you actually appreciate this time of year a little bit more, or something along the lines of that. And that hit hard because it's like, it's so true.
Yeah.
Your mum is the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
Or your dad. But your parent, like the token parent that just...
There's generally one who does more.
Yeah. Yeah. And in your house, it might be your dad, or in other houses, it might be your mum.
Yeah.
Like I said it a couple of weeks ago, I hate this time of year for this exact reason.
Yeah.
And then throw in all the school stuff. There's so many
my God, there's
assemblies
so
that you have
much.
to go to and awards. And, this time of year, I pray that my kid did not excel in anything because I don't want to have to go to another bloody award ceremony. Isn't that terrible? You're like, please not be getting anything for maths. Please, 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 please. Fourth, yes, we just missed it.
Just missed out.
Yes. Good enough, but yes, that means I don't have to
I
turn
can
up.
see you've tried, but I don't have to attend anything.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yes, exactly right. Look, I've screwed myself this year in that the last time we got paid, I went out and I was like, and I just bought all the things and not realizing that this payday is also going to be Christmas shopping payday. And now, I'm towards the end, I'm like, I can't do any more shopping yet.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving everything to the last minute, which will be horrible.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to get though. And every year we do the same thing in our house. Jerry takes the kids for the day, drops me off at Westfield, and I just go nuts for the whole day.
You do a power shop.
Yep. In between there, I have a lunch by myself, which is glorious, coffee by myself, which is glorious, and then I ring him and I tell him when to pick me up. And I just get to do everything bang, 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 bang.
So we get paid on the 15th. Is it like December the 16th?
Yes. Yes, literally. We get paid on the Friday and I'm going that Saturday. I'm also going out for dinner the Friday night, so I better not drink too many cocktails because then no one's getting anything for Christmas. I've got the basics, but I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, plan. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, plan,
and it
delegate.
Sucks. It sucks, but
we're just saying when we see you, mums. We see you. We see you.
Also, can I just say, screw Jerry this week. He's gone on a work trip for a week. The worst week ever. It's the last week of school. Right before Christmas, gone away. All that mental load, I don't even have anyone to give to. Might find myself a sugar daddy or something.
If anyone's listening who's really rich and wants to do tasks for Leah's Christmas,
come on over. I only need you for a week.
It's mumclub@ news.com.au.
Just attention it. Yaya's sugar daddy. I see you. How depressing if no one writes in.
Anyway, I know I briefly mentioned that study, but it's really interesting. If you want to know about the science behind it, we'll pop a link to the study in the show notes, and you can feel validated in your Christmas stress.
Amazing. I'm crying a little bit from the sugar daddy comment.
Now, I wanted to talk to you about an article. It's got nothing to do with KidSpot. It's not on our website at all. This article that I came across from the New York Times.
Oh, yes.
That blew my mind.
Yes, I remember you telling me to read it. I have not read it yet.
It's really long. I printed it out and I was like, oh, wow. In paper, this is many, many pages.
Oh, wow.
So it is an amazing article. And basically what happened, this is in the US, 2 couples in California got IVF, right? But the embryos got mixed up. And they didn't find out until their babies were 4 months old. So that's like me getting IVF. I'm pregnant. I carry this baby. I deliver this baby. I breastfeed this baby.
4 months of the
4 months, but it's biologically not mine, genetically not mine.
Yeah.
And then they found out, and the only reason they really found out is because one of the families had an Asian dad, and the other ones were of a different descent. So their baby looked really Asian.
Wouldn't you have figured that out before 4 months though?
Well, it was just so interesting because the dad of that, in that situation, was completely like, this isn't our baby, something's gone wrong.
So the dad knew.
Yeah. But the mum, it's just that motherhood instinct. She knew it was the same baby that literally came out of her.
Yeah.
So it wasn't it was mixed up in the hospital.
Yeah, so she's like, how can this not be our baby? I birthed it.
Yes, exactly. And the blinkers that she had on, that she was just absolutely would not even, the self-preservation, I think, that how strong it was in her emotionally and physically, she just could not even think that it was anything but her baby.
Yeah, wow.
And but then her husband was like, look, we really have to get a DNA test. And they did. And it was And then they were also thinking that maybe that somehow they'd used someone else's sperm or something. So it might be like half hers. I'm saying within inverted commas, but half. Anyway, not related to either of them. And so then they, like, can you imagine getting that news? And so then they contacted the clinic and then they found, anyway, they figured it out that somehow the embryos had been switched. And literally, how about this? 10 minutes down the road, there was this other couple.
And they had their baby.
Yes.
What country is this?
It was in the US, in California. Like how...
What do you do?
Well, here's the thing.
Hi.
How it is...
Made you some cookies and P.S. you've got my baby and I think I've got yours.
Well, they got the clinic to contact them and everything.
Yeah.
And then, but what do you do? There's the amount of things you have to consider. Like, I mean, they did end up swapping the babies back, but it's 4 months, right? You can't just meet at a cafe and just swap babies and take home the other person's baby. They both had older siblings. Yeah. So they had to be like, oh, we're giving this baby isn't actually ours. Can you imagine trying to explain that to a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old child? I
mean, the good thing is that at that age they probably won't remember it too well.
Yeah. But in the moment, they'll know that that's not their baby, what they thought their baby sister was.
Yeah.
So then they did it so beautifully. They had this extended period where, I think about like 2 months, they'd do bits, like they'd swap the babies for like 2 hours.
Okay.
And then it led up to eventually the babies going over for like an overnight stay at the other people's houses, and then they eventually made the switch. But,
so, sorry, go back a little bit. Yeah. What was the other family's reaction? Like, were they also sitting there going, this isn't our child?
They were worried that, you know how all babies are born with blue eyes?
Yeah.
This baby's eyes were staying blue, like bright blue. And they were like, oh. And she actually talked to her doctor about it, and he was like, oh, genetics are wild.
I love doctors for that. Yeah.
Anyway, and then, I just can't stop thinking about it. The grief they had for losing the first babies, which they had also bonded with because they were pregnant with that baby and had those newborn stages with that baby and all that kind of stuff. And it was just, they say it's not a happy ending. It's the happiest ending it could be. And they're still really involved in each other's lives. The kids are like 5 now.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, right. All right.
Yeah.
So this is a while ago.
Yeah. But this piece just came out. And I'm like, what would you – I can't imagine handling it better than they've done it. I think they did it amazingly.
Yeah.
But like –
as heartbreaking as it would be, I would – like it's 4 months. Yes, it's a long time to establish that bond as well, but it's also just 4 months.
Yeah.
If you wait and delay it until they're like 2, 3, 4, that's going to be a harder swapperoo.
Yeah.
But I would do the same thing that they did, and then I would just make sure that the other parent, the mum that thought the baby was the mum, like make them a godparent or something and be like, that's your second mum or something like that.
That's exactly what they've done. How lucky they got in an unlucky situation. They lived 10 minutes away. They both had the same kind of economic factors. So it wasn't like one were like super poor and one were really super rich.
Yeah.
They didn't have any cultural, like particularly strong cultural or religious beliefs. Like for all of those stars to align, like imagine if you reached out and they were like, oh no, you're not taking this baby back or whatever. Anyway.
Imagine being the baby and then like, this is so
what are you going to say?
I'd be one pissed off baby if it was like, why am I going to the poor family? I was living in that really nice house. I don't want to leave. I don't care if she's my real mum. Where? Change my nappy, bitch.
Anyway, it's such a good article and it threw so much up for me in terms of the decisions that mothers make and that parents make and all of this stuff. I will pop it in the show notes. It is, as I said, it is not a Kid Spot article, but it's one of the best pieces of journalism I've read this year. Yeah. And I would highly encourage you to check it out.
Interesting.
Now.
Yes.
You went and saw a movie.
Did I see a movie? I saw the movie that we've been waiting 8 years for.
Moana 2.
Moana 2.
Okay, give me your review. Hit me with it.
Disney's sequel to Moana, arguably the best Disney film.
It's up there. It's very, very good.
It was my favourite. I was obsessed. My kids were obsessed. I was equally obsessed. Loved every minute of watching it multiple times.
Yeah.
Then Moana 2 came out and I was so looking forward to it, Tootie.
You didn't like it?
I didn't love it. And I was so disappointed that I didn't love it. I really, really wanted to love it. I just didn't. It's not the same as the first one. And I think I went into it because I went to see Frozen 2 when Frozen 2 came out. And I went on my own because it was like a media screening. I also loved Frozen. So that's how dedicated I was.
It was a media screening. You're there dressed up as Elsa.
I went as Kristoff. And I cried in Frozen 2. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. So I was hoping that Moana 2 would have that effect on me. And look, the opening number, the main song, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. There's no doubt about that. The animation, the graphics, amazing. Beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
But I just felt like the jokes were a little bit cringe, a little bit forced. Maui, also like one of the best characters ever in Disney history. And even his jokes and one-liners were forced and cringe. He makes a few references to You're Welcome, which was his song in the first movie. And it's like, it was almost like they were constantly trying to remind you, like, remember us, remember us, remember us, remember the jokes that we said in number one. And then they rehashed it. It's like seeing a comedian.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, rinse and repeat. And it was just like, you don't need to do that. We know these characters well enough for you to forge on and create your own new jokes.
Yeah.
They introduced some new characters. The villain, very mysterious, but also I don't think she is a villain. She kind of helps Moana at some point. So it's like, how is she a villain? Bit confusing. So mysterious in the way that, yeah, but you've gone so far mysterious that now it's confusing to the viewer.
Yeah.
Some of the new characters I didn't love, like they didn't go deep enough into them for you to love them.
Yeah.
And Maui's song, because of course Maui had to have a new You're Welcome song.
Yeah.
Really forced, really cringe.
Oh no, what a shame. I mean, it'll still make $1 billion. And
it's already like number one at the box office.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really matter. And kids were going to watch it and interpret it their own way anyway. Also, the biggest thing the biggest message in it got hidden. Like it was kind of like tacked on the end. I won't tell you what it is. Like some people have found different meanings in this film. I found that the biggest one was tacked on the end. But when we left, I didn't show what I thought of it. And I asked my daughter, I said, "What, did you love it?" She was like, "Meh." I was like, "Oh, now this is the child that loved Moana, obsessed with Moana." She goes, "Oh, that was all right." And I said, "Well, what was your favourite part?" She goes, "The music and the animals." So she liked the pig and the chicken. That was it. And the music. I was like, well, you know what? If that's all that kids are going to love from a film, which usually is all they love anyway, then they've done a good job.
Yeah. They'll be like Moana 3, like pig story.
There will, the pig would just be the chicken. There will be a Moana 3. And so Cassidy, our lifestyle reporter, caught up with some of the composers and some of the stars from the film when they were in Sydney.
Yeah.
And they said that don't leave too soon after the credits.
Oh, good tip.
There's something there. I left beforehand. I was so keen to get out of there, so I missed it. When you see it, can you tell me what it was, please? No, they just said don't be quick to leave. Like let the credits roll for a little bit and stay because there is a hint there for Moana 3.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm really sorry to give you that bad news.
Let's roll into our wins and fails. I'm so excited. I've got a good one this week.
Okay, well then go first.
Okay, my win is
she looks so smug.
Well, it's very rare that as a journalist I get to bring my at work skills into like my school mum skills, right?
You helped with English homework.
No, there's been a change to some of the, I think there's a chance that Alice will be in a composite class next year.
Okay.
And so the school held a meeting, but it was really last minute and a lot of the parents couldn't make it and they were very mad. So I live reported
Well, from your phone?
on my phone.
What, via a text message or like
Via the
screen time?
Via the school WhatsApp chat.
Yeah.
Everything to do with the meeting.
You
It was
made
like a
notes.
live blog.
You made notes, like Gossip Girl style.
And then everyone's like, ask this. And then I was like, it was really funny.
And
Anyway,
did the school know that you were doing that? Like, was that a job or was that just what
no, that was me undercover.
you were? Oh, so you would have been like annoying the school with all your undercover work.
No, it's fine. It was just reporting what's going on in the meeting. Yeah. So anyway, basically I was showing off and it was really fun and I felt, I don't know,
Amazing.
felt smug.
Yeah.
My fail, Alice looks like I found some clothes in the gutter.
End of year.
End of year.
Yeah.
Like her shoes are like hanging together
my
by
gosh.
thread.
Yeah.
Anyway, her uniform, one uniform is great, but the other uniform is so done.
Yeah.
Like it's a hem's come up down at the back boat. Anyway, she went to school this morning and I was like, oh man, like
I think everyone's there though.
No, I know. And I'm not going to buy new school shoes
Yeah.
now. I'm not crazy. But I'm just saying it really looked it. Like
Yeah.
it really looks like we're limping to the end of the year.
I had a different fail, but I'm going to. Can I have the same kind of fail?
Okay.
Because the other day, Maddie put her school shoes on, and she's got no shoelace left. It's like turned white, no fabric on it, just like one thread, and it's like still like barely comes through the loop. She's like, I think I need new shoes. I was like, hell no, you're getting new shoes.
Just staple them on.
I was like, we are going to just tie it here, and then like we'll just deal with it. It's like so tiny. I was like, yeah, we're so done. One of her tunics has a hole in it. I'm not changing that.
No.
Christopher's shirt has turned yellow from all, I don't know why. It's not crisp white anymore. But next year he's high school. It's different uniform. I think we are all okay to have this fail in that our
Okay,
kids
it's a
look
communal
dishevelled.
fail. It's a communal fail.
Your
Fine.
kids are excused for looking dishevelled, and we are excused for looking bloody exhausted.
Yeah, okay.
Because of the mental load.
What's your win then?
Oh, my win's a good one.
Yeah.
So I got a massive compliment from a child the other day.
Oh.
Well, I thought it was a compliment. So I had my son's graduation.
Yeah.
And we had a little after party afterwards at a friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we're sitting there talking about going to the friend's house afterwards, I said, oh, do we really need to go in all of our, in our kit? What do you want to do at the end of the night? You want to take your makeup off, tie your hair back, especially when it's humid AF at the moment, and just put your PJs on. And then she looked at me and she goes, well, you can still wear your PJs if you want. And I was like, well, is anybody else? This should have been a pajama party. She goes, it should have been. Anyway, so I went back to my other friend's house to get changed because all my stuff was there. And I said to her, give me a pair of pajamas. She was like, you serious? I'm like, yep, I'm going in my pajamas. And she was like, there are other people that are going to be there that you don't really know. I'm like, give me my pajamas. So she gave me a pair of bluey pajamas. I chucked them on. Went over to her daughter because she's the same shoe size as me. I said, give me a pair of slides and then a pair of socks. And she was like, are you seriously going to wear that? I was like, yes, I am. So I got there and all the parents are like, wow, that's one confident mum. Like just coming here. Anyway, everyone was like, that was such a good idea. That's such a good idea. Chucked my hair back. And then anyway, one kid came up to me and she looked at me up and down and I was like, oh, this could go either way. And she goes, I want to be just like you when I grow up. Oh, do you? I said, why? And
You're like, because I am deranged. I'm exhausted and deranged.
well, this kid I know is very good at English. And I said, oh, why? Because I'm a journalist. I can give you some tips. And she goes, no, you just do whatever you want, no matter what other people think. And I'm like, yes. And I can give you plenty of tips on that. I said, you know, the key to being me is? And she said, what? I said, being confident in yourself, love yourself, and do not care about what other people think, because as long as you love yourself, it doesn't matter who else loves you. She was like, yeah. I was like, a kid wants to be me.
Yeah, wisdom.
Yeah. There's one behind me in a conga line. Dun, 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 dun. They'll all start joining me soon. I was like, now get off Snapchat. That's another way you can be me.
All right. That brings us to the end of the episode for today. If you would like to be featured on our Friday episode in which we answer listener questions, please send them through to mumclub@news.com.au or you can DM us on our socials, which is at Mum Club Podcast via TikTok or Instagram. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
Bye, everyone.